Hello everyone on YouTube. Today we're gonna be discovering how to eliminate the stress at work. I say eliminate. Sounds a little bit exaggerated too much, so instead of it, reduce might be an appropriate term in this situation. But all things considered, we don't wanna work over stress, do we? In this episode, I'm gonna talk about work-related stress. Not personal stress like when your girlfriend had an affair with someone else, she cheated on you, and then you got depression. I don't care about that. Today, we go jump into work strain, tension, and distortion. Everyone who has a job or who has ever had a job at some point would have felt the pressure of work-related stress, because stress can contribute to several kinds of negative effects on business. You don't want to feel stress at work, but any jobs can have a stressful element even if you love what you do. We break into some different kinds of stress, and I give you secret tips of how to reduce your stress when you are at work. If you can fully understand the mechanism of how to keep stress from taking over your life and even control your mindset to reduce stress, I believe you're gonna be able to have a job satisfaction at maximum. Believe it or not, let's figure this out. Merely stress might sound overly simple, but it's easy to underestimate how much stress affects you. Stress is not always bad, by the way. It can be a motivator to complete tasks quickly and effectively. However, if you mix working hard with overworking at the expense of human relationship and physical health, your life is gonna be corrupted for sure. Basically, whatever business you do, you gotta cope well with stress at work. In the short term, you might have experienced tons of pressure to meet a deadline or fulfill a challenging obligation or assignment, but when your work stress becomes chronic, it can be overwhelming because it will mount up in the long run, and it's gonna be so harmful to both mental and physical health. Unfortunately, such long-term stress is all too common in Japan, and maybe on the entire planet too. So you can't always avoid the tensions that happened on the job. But again, I give you some secret tips to manage work-related stress. Common sources of work stress are basically as follows: low salary, excessive workload, drastic changes within organization, lack of social benefit, tight deadline, harassment, discrimination, and it's countless with my hands, right? But the thing is that they are not the big concerns, and you know why? Because stress basically comes from 6 factors and stressors. If you know well about these 6 attributes and what to do, I believe I can help you to reduce negative stress as well. I'm gonna give you a top 6 countdown for why you are stressed out at work. But before we move on, I just want you to know that in any given business models, you always have to have a paired relationship. Okay? So, just like a buyer and seller, give and take, and there's some sort of mutual interaction between you and whoever the other one is. So you guys always have to be paired at work. For example, if you have an online community in social media, your followers can be your potential customers, in other words. So you guys swap some conversations and start doing business together. Then you guys become peers, partners, alliance, or even co-workers, so that you can grow up your community. If you cope well with a human relationship, you are less likely to feel negative. The majority of key factor with stress-free is to socialize with your co-workers. So this is the point. It's important to double check how you are working and interacting with them. Only a slight change to your communication and work style could develop a better connection with them, and then you can remove some anxiety for sure. So do you have a good relationship with your peer, or do you just duck behind your computer screen and avoid contacts? Judge your work approach. You don't have to be a social butterfly or hit up a happy hour every week. Just attempting to make a small talk with your team will probably help you to relax. I usually do text one of my close teammates when I'm super tired of working all day. I close my office at 5:30 p.m. every day, right? And I make a short text to her and saying, "How are you?" 3 simple words. How are you? How was your day? Yeah, was everything okay with you or something like that? And then she replies me suddenly saying, I was tired too. So what happened here is that we had some common given stress in any way, right? Then I sent her back, how so? I'm sorry to hear about that, but would you mind if you tell me your story? Likewise, we can last our conversation hours longer and help each other to feel better, you know? So I enjoy talking with the female coworkers because it's fun. Yeah, doesn't matter what she talks about, but we complain to each other and feel much released. That all matters to us. Yeah, seriously, this can beneficial for productivity and make stress release. Don't you think so too? Oh yeah, why not? Even just getting to new people in a team can improve your mood and help you to work together if you are positive and sympathetic person. So you can't always apply to all this situation, but I swear to God, most of the time it works. Although there may be some cases where you have to stay connected with your team after hours, it's in your best interest to take advantage of your downtime to relax and recharge. This helps you a lot, not only to reduce stress, but also avoid employee burnout. If you focus only on working all day and never give yourself time away from work-related tasks, you are much more likely to be stressed out. You can break into your daily schedule as to go for a walk, grab coffee, and have lunch. You know, all these things gives you some time to clear your mind, give your brain a break from whatever you are working on. So there are too many ways that you can take action in a minute. You know, you may get extra help from trusted friends, family members, and then you can improve your ability to manage your stress too. That's also great. Perfect. However, even in doing so, sometimes you are still stressed out at work. You can't get rid of it. You know why? Because you don't know the root cause of why you are stressed out. Stress is a problem that most of us have, and the things that are stressing us out are out of control. You know it. It's inevitable. Then, how can you figure this out? The root cause. As I said earlier, we have 6 reasons why we are always tired at work. If you leave it unchecked, you're gonna be in a bad cycle, like you are on a rat race forever. We now go over with it as to what's going on and tell you each attribute, right? Okay. So the first one is peer pressure. I hate that crap. And then number 2, excessive tension. Number 3, environmental stress. This is unclear, so I'm gonna tell you more later. Okay. So number 4 is achievement stress, and then finally here it is. Number 5 is human relationship. I analyzed 6 different types of stress. Okay. So if you feel anxiety, sadness, frustration, and or anger, you'd be suffering from one of these factors. Let's go with peer pressure. Peer pressure is something that can heavily influence your life negatively and positively. Your trusted people, family members, friends, teachers, and they all tell you, don't do drugs and don't depend on those things. And then you know they are right. They protect you from peer pressure positively. But on the other hand, when one person or group decides to pressure you into doing something stupid or you don't want to do, you have to say, no, I don't want to do. Most of the time, they make fun of you. That pisses you off, by the way. Why do you think they make you feel so bad? Because they don't want to do something. That's so stupid. Honestly, if you pressure anybody to do anything, I think you're a piece of crap. It's up to what you're trying to get the person to do though. I really hate peer pressure because let's just say I had a lot of stupid people in my entire life. So there is actually been a few times where my friend asked me to do what I didn't want to do. Another friend of mine who stood right next to me totally agreed with me, but they kind of forced me to do just for fun. I was so pissed off and I got so mad. I have never punched anyone so hard, so fast in my entire life, but my friend kind of stopped me. Like otherwise, when you decline something you don't want to do, I don't recommend what I did at all, because violence only causes more violence. I don't understand the mindset of people who try to pressure other people into doing the stuff that are annoying. You feel the most negative peer pressure when you are with a bunch of idiots. Yeah, people offer you something, you say no, and they make you feel horrible until you do it. The way I see people trying to pressure other people into doing things that are necessarily bad or idiot, they are not good person. So I suggest you to stay away from them. If you do fall for peer pressure, it's kind of on you, depending on the situation, of course. That doesn't always mean you're a bad person, but it means you need to own up to it and just learn from it. So yeah, more of the story, just do not hang out with idiots. That's what it is. Best answer, okay? Next one, excessive stress. If you are under excessive stress, you feel worried and tense because you are sick of insomnia. As I made a past video about the sleep shortage, sleep deprivation will result in depression and some side effects on your mind and body as well. Stress is greatly linked to sleep. For those who are doing a business in Japan, most of you tend to work overtime until the late night because the deadline kills you and deprives you from sleeping. If you struggle with deadline anxiety, to avoid stressful last minute scramble, I advise you to set a task completion time for the same day as the final deadline. So you can just highlight to-do list from top to the bottom and make a priority which task you should launch first. So let's suppose my basic work status is like if the deadline is 5 p.m. tomorrow, I do my best to finish up my work by the end of today, and then next morning modify it. For the rest of the afternoon, all I gotta do is to make a submission. That's all. If it becomes a habit, your work life will be much easier. I'm telling you the truth. So that's the one thing you should note. So deadlines make clear what you're expecting to deliver and when. Unless you do well with a deadline, it can damage your reputation and harm your career prospect. So simply to meet deadline, you might need to plan in detail and create a detailed schedule like a Gantt chart. It also helps you to reduce your stress, but people are lazy on it. They don't really want to do scheduling because it sounds like they're adding another tasks. That's a sarcastic though. Anyway, so when you start feeling something might have happened to your mentality and physicality, you gotta identify the cause. Yeah, it may seem simple, but identifying the sources of your stress can begin the healing process. For example, self-awareness helps you to identify the things that trigger stress state of mind, so that you can find a better and healthier way of coping well with stress at work. Once you create a list of major stressors, you're gonna be able to have a planning a clear path to eliminate or reduce stress. Some people work at a horrible workplace where physical violence has happened, yelling, and other verbal abuse are also common in workplace too. But they do not recognize they are in a horrible work environment. Once they are used to a toxic work environment, it becomes normal for them. Yeah, they don't even recognize the red flag and what to do. Because when they are experiencing a burnout, they are already in depression. If they delight for their job responsibility, they tend to be under excessive pressure. If you are diligent, picky, and perfectionist, be careful of excessive stress. I'm not a person who always wanting for perfect score. I'm not worried about that, but how about you? And this one is the most important. Environmental stress. So, as I said earlier, drastic change within an organization is stressors. The negative one is like sales profit was down, you got fired, divorced, and your trustful people were gone out of your company, and something like that. Whereas transfer to other department, move to overseas countries, marriage, and promotion. They are all positive environmental stress, but the positive one also has some downsides to increase your stress level. What is it supposed to mean? It reminds me of one example, so let me share with you. When you want to develop your job career in tech, you are thinking of something like whether you can keep doing for 10, 20 and 30 years, and in the meantime, when you get promoted for the position of senior director in a company, for example, you are in charge of IT department. Your company assigns you a big project. You are responsible for everything in case you failed. Under the tight work environment, you are so stressed out, of course. And if your company gives you a pay well, rewarding, flexibility, and fun, definitely your job satisfaction is a maximum. However, if you put too much responsibility and obligation on duty, your stress level tends to be highest. That's not good, right? I see some people who got promoted and raised the pay. They started to work so hard and long hours, and then they died from karoshi, which means death by overwork. Working more than 80 hours of overtime is so insane, but nevertheless, they do not stop working because they are responsible for everything. So, when you have a good environmental stress, you tend to fall for overworking. I've seen a bunch of people who corrupted their mentality. Oh man, that's so terrible. It's like a domino. One manager is down, next person is down, another one is down, everyone is gone. Not good. So that's honestly one of the worst scenarios about this industry. I think it's not that good to look for environmental changes so frequently, especially in tech industry. I know advanced engineers apply their skills to a breadth of different topics because there are just many combinations of positions and roles and responsibility that they can gain. But if they are incapable of doing a work at the upper professional level, they feel too much stress. No one helps you, and you feel like you are in a quarantine, although it's related to remote work. So my point is that you should slow your business down and take a rest between project and project, and then you are not gonna have chronic stress in the long run. Yeah, just like eat Pringles one by one. Stop eating a bunch of tips at one time. You know what I'm saying? I hope you understand my joke. Next one is achievement stress. Yeah, in Japan, we are living in a seniority system. Once we get into the company, we keep working there until we retire. We've got the job security so that we can focus on doing a good job rather than we have to constantly be looking for another job. That's one of the things about the union. But now that we are abolishing the old seniority system, we have shifted our work infrastructure with a perfect performance-based pay system. Think about a car dealer who works on commissions. If no car is sold that day, business doesn't generate revenue, right? So employees do not get a commission either. This pay structure ensures that the only top performers can survive. Many of business owners like the idea, but the normal people who are used to working in a seniority system in Japan do not feel happy with that because they want a stability and job security rather than competition, commission, and and incentives. I think it truly makes sense to me though. Yeah, performance-based pay system may cause higher stress level in workers and lower job satisfactions if you didn't get that well. So of course, whatever you do, there's always pros and cons of performance-based pay system. So I don't say it's good or bad. No, not at all. Speaking of achievement of stress, by the way, you'd better not push yourself too much for bonus, commissions, and profit sharing, and compare your job performance with others, and take on too much work with your hands. You don't have to be jealous of others' performance. Your salary will be valuing up or down based on the performance of individuals or teams. If you do not fit in this pay structure, you better stay away from it. Yeah, because it's too stressful for you. Do not get too hasty. Don't compare yourself with others, and do not get too nervous. There are the secret keys of how to avoid achievement stress. Okay, so finally we're gonna go through the human relationship. Here we go. Power and sexual harassment always everywhere around me. Oh yeah, here they are. We have 6 types of harassment: violence, verbal abuse, isolate you or ignore you, excessive assignment, that's also called unreasonable demand, and no assignment for you. Excessive assignment means they give you a tons of paperwork intentionally and give you impossible deadline. You're like, oh my god, yeah, this is a type of harassment. And no assignment means they assign you nothing but to have a seat and kill time. This is only a tip of the iceberg. There are still a lot more power harassment where you can find it in a terrible company. And one more thing, invasion of privacy. Some people sometimes interfere with your private matter that annoys you so much. But the most annoying things that drives you nuts is they try to pressure you gradually and get you to do what you don't want to do. Actually, you feel you don't want to do, but you don't want to say no because you are afraid of being fired if you reject. Correct? Holy cow! I know I'm right. Well, it's not surprising that you feel that way. I can fully understand you. But the legal definition of workplace harassment is quite bold and vague. So what it means is any nasty behavior or conduct in a workplace that's also called sexual harassment. If you feel that way, yes, it is. You should be reporting to the HR department, put your complaint on a record, and then they'll have an obligation to investigate. If you are working for a smaller company, you are also able to report the incident to your boss or whoever your manager is, but you may only have an opportunity to fix the problem. If they are not willing to play ball, not willing to take a legal action, you may need to think about the constructive dismissal situation, which you don't really want to undergo, because like I said, you're afraid to lose your job, especially if your boss is the one harassing you. You have no option but to follow him. Well, more likely, Japanese female workers tend not to get too much in trouble with their boss. Doesn't matter if it's fair or unfair. They might say stay patient or try to be sober. Then gradually they get used to harassment and try to feel normal because they don't like a conflict. You know what I'm saying? I do love fight. I'm not afraid of it, so it's no problem for me. But if you are shy or your boss is not good at the communication skill, workplace harassment is gonna happen to you. How are you gonna deal with it? All you gotta do is to report to the HR person you can trust if you think you are treated unfairly. That all matters and helps you to reduce your stress. I hope you had a new finding from my video. Alright. So that's enough for part 1, and for the part 2 we go jump into more details on prevention and the timing of stressful life. If you can stay tuned with me, please do so. I look forward to seeing you soon after taking a short break. Okay, so far so good. Let's take 5. Okay, I'll see you later.